Scrap-iversary.
Scrap-iversary?
Why not?
Can you believe it's been 1 year since we started this amazing endeavor?
Yes, I can't believe it.
Me neither.
It seems very strange and surreal that it could be a year already. On the other hand, we've done a lot in that year.
We have. We've had so many incredible guests, fabulous conversations with everybody, learned so much about all sorts of wonderful baking things. Who could forget all of our baking scraps along the way?
I've learned so many things. I really need to make a compilation of them because I forget them. And then later I'm reminded when I go and listen to a podcast or when somebody says something, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot all about that tip. So yeah, I think a compilation of baking scraps is in order.
I can't agree with you more.
What was your favorite part of doing the past year of podcasts?
It's been a wild ride of just all sorts of greatness. We couldn't do this without all of our incredible guests that we've had join us over the last year. And I would probably say that's been really the highlight for me, is just being able to...
The connections.
The connections we've made and building our baking community. And how about for you?
I think that's part of it too. Or that for me, the highlight of it is getting to have all these connections and then having an excuse to bake.
Of course,
right?
Like we need an excuse to bake.
I just get more inspiration from everybody that we talk to, and so it's pretty awesome to be able to. It's awesome.
It is awesome.
And to be able to hang out with you. Awesome, amazing, incredible.
All the good things.
Fantastic.
And fun. And don't forget all the learning.
All the learning. So I'm excited to celebrate this 1 year with you. And we have this little episode that's just us.
Yes.
Not us sitting here. We're going to have some celebratory treat. But you can watch the rest of this episode. The two of us talking together.
Yes.
Woo-hoo! Happy anniversary!
Happy anniversary!
Happy anniversary!
Can you believe
we're here?
No, I almost can't believe it. A year
I know.
that we've been doing this?
Hasn't it just gone by
It's
so
gone
fast?
by so quickly. It's quite amazing to me. And how many episodes do we actually have? If I look, I'm just going to look really quickly here because we're including all of our interviews with all of these amazing guests. And then also we have done our baking scrap recap.
Yeah.
It's like 61 episodes.
That is unbelievable.
That's what we've done in this past year.
And
I mean, by the time this actually comes out, we'll have a couple more episodes. So it's impressive. Well done. High five.
Yeah, you. Yeah, yes.
Anyway, so let's talk about our first segment.
Sure.
Decided we're going to just have an anniversary with just the two of us here. And I like that. I like the getting in a little bit deeper with you.
Yeah, I think this will be really, a fun time. We've got so many amazing things that we've done over the last year. We've had the opportunity to do in the last year. And, taking this time to kind of reflect, go back, think about those cool opportunities, those fun conversations that we've had. But also, I think it's a good amount of time for maybe getting a little bit deeper with the two of us. And so, we've shared a lot of so many other people.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice then to maybe peel back some of those layers.
And let's peel back some of those layers. All right. Well, let's start out by talking about the recipe that made me. Is there a recipe in your life, Cristina, that you can look back and think was a pivotal moment in your baking journey?
Lisa, that's such a great question. As you know, I started baking when I was just a wee little toddler with my mom and my grandmother.
And your ponytail.
And I think did we share that
yes,
story?
Yes, you did.
Right? Yes. I mean, that could have made or break my baking journey.
Yeah, having a ponytail caught in a mixer is never a good thing.
never, ever, ever a good thing. So, and it makes quite the mess, especially when you're talking chocolate cake. Yeah,
But
no,
also makes for a good story.
it really does, right? It's a fun one. But I would say that when I think a real pivotal time for me came when my mom had been really, really ill growing up. And when I was about 8, 9 years old, my mom was in and out of the hospital for a good part of a year, if not longer.
Wow.
And not local. We lived in a small town. And so
Right.
she was a 4 hour drive away. And so my dad would go to the coast, Vancouver, where my mom was at the hospital at VGH. And we would hang out with my grandparents usually, or my aunt and uncle who lived in town. So there was a lot of back and forth. I honestly don't know to this day how my dad managed
No
two
kidding.
two young kids, and then just doing the shuffling back and forth. And he was such a hard worker because he was like obviously still had to work. This is before BC Medical was a thing. So
Oh,
um,
yikes.
so yeah, I mean, so he continued to work full time, and then head to the coast to see my mom on the weekends, and then come back home, work, all that kind of stuff. So anyway, but that time, like my grandmother knew that I loved to bake, and I think just knew that we were obviously not in a great place as far as missing our mom and that
Mhm.
kind of stuff. And we used to do a lot of baking together. And one of my favorite things that I would bake with her would be we called them grandma cookies. But in Portuguese, they're biscoitos or roscas. And I would say that is probably the recipe that I think just gave me a lot of comfort and the love that would go into baking these cookies with my grandmother. It's such a, at a time where we didn't know whether my mom was going to make it or not.
Mhm.
It was just, it just took your mind off things. And yeah, it was, yeah, therapeutic, good
Yeah.
therapy. And so
Good.
grandma knew
Definitely.
exactly what to do at that time to kind of make things maybe a little bit better, a little bit sweeter
Yeah.
during those moments of, where we were sad.
Uncertainty and
Sure.
yeah, discomfort and sadness and difficulty.
Yeah.
It's
But,
good to have grandmas around.
oh, right.
Yeah.
So wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Great, great
wonderful.
memories. But yeah. How about you? How about you? What's that one recipe that really holds dear to you and holds that
I was
special meaning?
thinking about that because there's a number of recipes that come to mind. For me, I think it was more not necessarily a recipe, but like cake decorating because I always made the kids' birthday cakes. My mom always made a very special cake for me on my birthday every year growing up. She would make the Barbie cake with the Barbie stuck in it with the big gigantic
Classic.
dress and
Classic. Love those.
she always had a theme for our parties. She made a snowman cake one year, and all our goodie bags had these little marshmallow snowmen in it and stuff. And so for me, that was one of the things that I really wanted to do for my kids was to be able to make these really fun themed birthday parties. And I always used boxed cake mix. I never really had like cake recipes because that was not something that was being handed down in our family, except mom's cherry cheesecake, which is a no bake cherry cheesecake, which is very delicious.
Mhm.
But that was mom's. Mom does that, and mom's still here. Mom still makes her cherry cheesecake for special occasions. But one of my daughter's birthdays, so my daughter's gonna be 30 this year. Um, and when she turned, I think she was turning 6, she had a kitty cat birthday. And I remember that was the first time that I realized that I could make 3D cakes, that I did not have to just like draw a cat on a flat sheet cake or carve it, into a two-dimensional shape of a cat. And I remember I baked the cakes and I was cutting it into different pieces and figuring out okay, how is this going to work for the cat's back? How is this going to work for the cat's head and the tail and the feet and everything? And I managed to make a quite impressive, like I was young, I was in my 20s at the time, and no real baking experience, a quite impressive three-dimensional fluffy white cat for Selah's birthday. And I just remember being so proud of that cake and so astounded that you don't just have to make flat cakes and, stick cake toppers on it or draw like an outline of a cat on it. I could make it look like a real cat.
That's
Um,
incredible.
yeah, it kind of felt like I was ruining it by sticking candles in it, but but yeah,
What's a realistic cake without candles? Come on.
right. Yeah, you can't. Yeah, you just have to decide where you're sticking the candles.
That is another question for another day.
Another day, different type of show. But I
Different, very
remember
different.
just feeling really accomplished with it and kind of, even though I didn't do anything like that. I mean, I did a dragon cake for Eric as well that same year. My son, my middle one. And yeah, it was just kind of that realization that I could do this. And then I think it really kind of set this like ground floor expectation for later when I actually started baking to be like, I'm not gonna just settle for flat cakes. I could do more than that. I did it way back when I had no idea what I was doing and was using box cake mix and, frosting in a can. So I could do it now.
That's impressive. And I mean, you have such a cool creative background anyway, right? So it makes sense that you would totally go, you know, wild and just you're just so ambitious, right? You've
Ambitious,
always
yeah.
had that real ambition, and that's really impressive because that's way before you actually really got the bug
Way
to
before.
bake.
Yeah.
So and I just love seeing the journey of your cakes as well. And I know one of the funnest things that I followed along with your bakes and your Instagram page is when you did the Fisher Price
Series, yeah.
collection, series of bakes. And holy man, take total nostalgia, taking me right back to when I was a kid and had those same toys and loved those toys. And
Oh, yes.
how hyper realistic you made them look. I mean,
Thank you.
I'm in awe. I'm in awe. So
Thank you. And those ones were actually baked from scratch, and all of the designs were made by eye and from scratch and everything. So yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. It's really nice to have come to the point where I can make stuff like that.
it's
Very.
incredible. I mean, I totally appreciate the creation, the creativeness, the talent, the skill level that you would need in order to do that. I have not really gone down that road at all of doing hyper realistic cakes. It's not really something that
It's not your aesthetic.
it's not what I do. Yeah, it's
And
not
I
what I
don't
do.
do a lot of the hyper realistic ones either, but I like it when I do it and it works. Don't look at me like that. She's
You
very skeptical,
you've
and
done no, you've done
I've
a
done a
lot of
few,
hyper realistic cakes.
not a whole lot, but when I
Many
do
more than
them,
I have.
I will show them off if they work. I will probably not post them if they if they're not looking like they, are the real thing. But
No,
yeah.
very impressive.
Thank you.
And as you know, the baking community has so many incredible people that do these hyper realistic
Mhm.
cakes and I mean they've got a whole show about it. Is it cake?
Yeah. Is
That's
it
all about hyper realistic cakes,
cake?
which is like totally mind-blowing to watch and follow along. So
Yeah. I'm
yeah.
glad nobody came into my kitchen with a machete to slice up my Fisher Price toys.
What do you end up doing with those though? Like how do you eat them afterwards?
Well, one of them was not really terribly edible because there was so much fondant on
Yeah.
it. That would be the Rock-a-Stack, the
Oh
ring
yeah.
cake.
Yeah.
That one was my first attempt.
That was so
Um,
cool.
I
They were
think
all
I
cool.
ended up throwing that out But the other ones I kind of just offered up, and I had family coming to visit when I had the medical kit, and
Mhm.
so they ate that. That was a really good one because it had an Irish cream white chocolate ganache, which
Mhm.
is so delicious. I have Irish cream in my coffee right now, so maybe it's kind of some sort of interesting tie-in that I didn't mean to
Like
do.
actual Irish cream.
No, 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 no,
Oh,
sorry, creamer.
the flavored
Flavored
coffee creamer.
non-dairy Irish creamer
Mm.
that I just picked up at the store, and I'm not 100% sold on it. Maybe I need some real Irish cream in there.
Right? I find some of the flavors can be a little not
Not
so. Yeah,
not 100%,
not
yeah.
no, or they have a little bit of an aftertaste that you just like, it's just
Yeah.
the back there that you just like
It's
not
just not
exactly,
not
right?
exact. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like,
But
yeah.
it's coffee, so I'm enjoying it.
Fair, fair, fair,
I
fair.
really should be drinking water, but I'm drinking coffee. So anyway, so that's our little segment on the recipe that made me. I don't really feel like it's these are any one particular recipe that like laid the groundwork for us as bakers, but it's
Mhm.
really fun to kind of dive in and hear a little bit more about your history and what happened when you were young and how what happened with your mom, if you don't mind me asking.
So she had some issues with her pancreas.
Okay.
So, and this was going back to like the 70s, right?
Hmm.
Mid 70s.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that during that time, I think doctors did the best they could with what they knew, and
Yeah.
there were a lot of unknowns. I think if it had happened nowadays, I think medical advancements have gone so far, and there's been such great research and the sharing between countries and doctors around the world. I think there probably it might not have been the issue that it ended up being. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah. So she did recover from that. It took
Okay.
yeah, she did recover from that.
Good.
And
That was my main question.
yeah, no, but my mom passed about 5 years ago.
Mhm.
So yeah. So
Yeah. I'm
that's
sorry.
yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's it's tough, right? When you have, because your mom's your mom, and there's just
Mhm.
such closeness, and I learned so much from her,
Yeah.
not only baking wise, but about life.
Mhm.
A huge influence. And so it's sad
Yeah.
that she's no longer there, and I can't call
Yeah.
her and say, hey,
Yeah.
mom,
Yeah.
can I get the recipe for this? Or, that kind
Yeah,
of
of course. Yeah, I think I'm starting to I have not lost a parent yet. But I'm starting to kind of recognize that these kinds of things are things that you have to think about. I know how you and I are both with our daddies. We
yeah,
both are daddy's girls.
Eddie's girls.
And my dad is getting to be, he's 88 years old. And when I see him now, I'm kind of like, oh, you look like you're getting older. For the first time in his life, he's acting older, and that's kind of hard. And
Mhm.
then my mom had a pretty terrifying diagnosis recently, and she's having the best care, and she's in really good hands. And apparently, this condition is very, very manageable. But it was very scary because my mom and my dad have both been just like these unstoppable forces for so long. I've always felt like, it's really hard to imagine them ever not being there. So I've kind
Yeah.
of suddenly started to be confronted with that, and it's really scary and sad. I mean, it's part of life, but realizing that there is going to be a time when mom and dad aren't there anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I'll handle it too well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's yeah, I mean, my mom passed unexpectedly.
that's even
Um,
harder.
and yeah, and I think that makes it, I think, a little bit more. I mean, she had been ill for a
Yeah.
little while, but it was all manageable. And then
Hmm.
she just wasn't there anymore. So yeah, I mean, it's tough. And I think the toughest part for me is seeing my dad,
Yeah.
and then him navigating through life without his life partner.
Yeah.
And that I think is probably the hardest part. You go into that support mode for him,
Right.
and helping him through everything,
Yeah.
right?
So then does that give you the opportunity to actually grieve yourself?
That's a very good question. That's a really good question. That's an excellent question.
Thank you. I'm an interviewer, you know.
Uh,
I have this podcast. It's called Baking Scrap.
oh,
We don't talk
cool.
about
Tell me
things like this
more. Tell me
usually.
more. No, we don't normally talk about things like this, but
But that's what this is all
um,
about, going a little bit
yeah.
deeper, getting to know us.
Yeah. So I think that was probably the toughest part, navigating that part with my dad. And as far as grief goes, I mean, grief is different for everybody, right? Everybody processes grief very differently and loss differently,
Yeah.
and there's no right, wrong, indifferent way to do it. It's just, it's just how your journey through it. Uh,
Moving through, because you can't like just move past it. You have to move
exactly.
through it, which
That's
is
right.
easier
Yeah.
said than done sometimes.
Absolutely, absolutely. And grief is one of those weird, wacky things that kind of hit you different times, right? You could
Mhm.
be going through things and something triggers you, and it takes you right back to those moments. And
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, you know me enough that you know that I'm a very pragmatic person.
Mhm.
And so the way I process grief is more from a, I don't know, practical kind of
Yeah.
perspective,
Hmm.
which is a little like probably very different for from a lot of people as well. So,
I mean, it's
like I said,
great
it's
for everybody around you because there's somebody who's thinking about everything that needs to be done and how you can move on now and like what do we need to do now?
mhm,
What sort of practical things need to be taken care of? But as long as you're still able to kind of process the grief and not just stay above it on that, like, okay, what's practical, what needs to be done, and I'm going to do it all because I'm the one that people count on.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's you're not wrong. I mean,
Yeah.
that's pretty much me in a nutshell, is making sure everybody else around me is in a good spot, or
Hmm.
help
Yeah.
support. Yeah.
Being taken care
In a
of.
very
Right?
supportive. Yeah.
Yeah. I appreciate you very much.
I appreciate you too.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah. All right, let's move on a little bit
Yeah,
lighter.
that's probably a good idea.
Let's talk about kitchen confessions.
Ooh, I thought this was
Oh.
supposed to get easier.
What? We're getting deep here. We're peeling back the layers of baking scraps. This is
So,
baking craps time
the
now.
baking crap confessions.
Baking crap confessions. We have not gone as deeply into the baking craps as we wanted to when we first started the podcast, because that was one of the things we wanted to have on our social media, making sure that people know it's okay to have
Yeah.
kitchen fails or things go wrong when you're baking. And
Yes.
it happens to everybody, even people who are very, very skilled, very talented professionals have it as well. So yeah, if you can think of something, because I know you're
Oh,
like
something.
fabulous, that we haven't
Good.
already shared on the podcast.
Oh yeah. Oh, good God. Baking fails. Like, how long do we have? Lots and lots and
Lots
lots
of
and lots
time.
and lots. Lots of time, or lots of time?
We have lots of time.
Yeah,
I
no,
can
I
just
mean,
listen. Go for it. I'm
I
trying
don't
to
know,
think of
like,
one that stood out.
so yeah, lots of different ones. I mean, I think I might have mentioned probably the most colossal one that I've ever had was for my son's birthday one year, and he was born on Father's Day, um, 20 almost 27 years ago. And
Yeah, coming up.
yeah, coming up. And and it's a special time for him. And if we can maybe go deep just for a little bit longer, his birthdays are really special because when my son was 9, on his ninth birthday, his dad actually passed. very unexpectedly. And so that was, another time in our lives that was really, really horrific and unexpected, and something that we had to navigate through. Me as a newly single mom, and Josh without his dad.
Yeah.
And because it happened on his birthday, which is, it's never a good day, but on your little guy's birthday, that made it that much more difficult of a time to process. And then some years it's a triple whammy because it falls on Father's Day.
Yeah.
So, I always wanted to make it was really important for me to make his birthdays extra special and perfect as much as possible all the time. And so his birthdays were these times where we'd go all out to make sure that he knew, first of all, that we could celebrate.
Yes.
Because I think he had a hard time, and still does to some degree, to actually celebrate his birthday, because of everything else and the significance of that day. But anyway, we'll fast forward. I think he would have been in his 20s at this time for the horrific cake that happened. And it was a super, super hot day. It was during one of our heat waves on the West Coast. So it was like 34 degrees or something like that. It's super, super hot. And his favorite cake's a Black Forest. So I made him this Black Forest cake. And, and usually I've made Black Forest cake often because that's one of his favorite.
Yeah.
It's one of his favorite cakes. Usually it's funny because on his birthday, he always asks for something different. And this was the first year that he actually asked for a cake. And a Black Forest, and a Black Forest cake. Usually he's asking for cherry pie or strawberry shortcake or lemon blueberry donuts, which are some of his favorites, or apple fritters, that kind of stuff. That's kind of what he generally asks for.
Yeah.
And this is the first year he actually asked for a cake. And I'm like, oh, this is fabulous. I love making cake. This is going to be great. So there I go, make this cake. The cake was good. And then I made, fresh from the Okanagan cherry compote and, cherries for the center. And then of course, a nice whipped cream to kind of finish it all off. Well, yes, the whipped cream did finish it all off because it was a little too soft for 34-degree weather with high humidity to boot.
Yes.
And by the time we served it, it was like flowing. It looked like a murder scene because, of course, with the bright red cherries throughout, it was like a total disastrous mess. And I'm kicking myself because I didn't take any pictures of it because, of course, I'm not going to post that kind of stuff on Instagram. At the time. And in hindsight, I'm really, like I said, kicking myself because it would have been like the perfect baking crap ever. It was like so colossal, disastrous mess. So we basically just grabbed some spoons and just went in on the cake, and it was fun. It's a fun story to share. And Josh was like totally laughing, and we had a great time. But the next year I had my redemption cake though, and it was perfect.
It was good. I'm glad he let you make a cake again after that because
right. I know. Well, I don't even know if he actually asked me. He might have asked me for something else,
just
but I had to make the cake.
Doesn't matter. This is what we're having.
And you're getting he's actually lemon blueberry donuts are one of his favorite for his birthday as well. So
yes. Delicious. That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what I shared when we were talking about our baking crafts on our first episode when it was just the two of us. Because I know that this was that was the story that you shared, I think.
I think so. Yeah, probably. Because it was terrific.
Yeah.
Spectacularly.
I really wish you had pictures of that because that would be great, right? But oh well, that's okay. We can imagine it. The crime scene.
Definitely crime scene-esque.
And I think that there are two that come to mind, and one of them was definitely the one that I know for sure I've mentioned before, where I don't really know what it was, but I got so mad that I was like ready to throw it across the room. I think it was some kind of buttercream that just was not coming together or was sliding off. I don't remember, but and anytime Chris came in and tried talking to me, it was like I I, I was the most het up I've ever been. Like just like right. I don't remember what happened with that one. I don't remember. I think I've blocked it from my mind.
Oh,
And the other one, which I think I have also talked about here, but the really big one for me was that somebody had asked me to make a trampoline cake. Do you remember me talking about the
oh,
trampoline
yes,
cake?
yes, yes. I remember you talking about your trampoline cake.
Trampoline
I think
cake.
you posted it too, did you not?
Oh, probably, which I just really shouldn't have because that is just terrible. I don't understand how anybody could like this cake. So I thought it would be relatively easy because they wanted the trampoline, you know, those big rectangular orange trampoline with like the blue frame. And I was like, that sounds fun. I could do that definitely. Keep in mind, I was relatively new to baking to this degree. And yeah, I thought if I just take a nice piece of orange fondant and like stretch it out and do something for the coils of the springs, I don't know what I was thinking I would do. Now I have a very different plan in my head for how I
Yeah.
would do it. But it just looked like this big rectangular cake that someone had slapped a piece of Velveeta on. It was so ugly. It was the ugliest cake I've ever seen. And she, I guess, was planning on putting some little figures on it to look like people jumping
Right.
on it. And I was so embarrassed to give her that cake. It was the worst. I thought it was so awful. And I really shouldn't have given it to her. But it was again that thing where you're like, I'm just done. I'm just done. And I would send her all these pictures and she was like, no, it's great. I love it. And I'm like, I don't know if she's lying to me or if she's, trying to help me feel better about it. But okay, if she wants it, she's okay with it. I guess I'll give it to her. Never would I do that nowadays. I would have,
Mhm.
just peeled everything off and started completely from scratch, which I probably could have done. But
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
get to a point of overload.
Yeah. And I think, you know what? I think we've all been there, done that, where we might have this great vision in our heads of what we want it to look like. And we have a
Yeah.
pretty good idea on how we think we could execute it. And then when
Mhm.
you're in the middle of getting all of the stuff on there, you're
Mhm.
like, gee,
Does not look good.
what's going on here? This is not what I had in my mind at all.
Exactly.
So hopefully in those moments you have a little bit of artistic license that maybe they've given you, or that you give yourself a little bit of grace, and you kind of pivot and do something a little bit different with it or whatever. I didn't think your trampoline cake was that bad. I mean,
Christina, it was
no, no. Okay.
horrific.
Well,
It did not look like a trampoline.
okay, well, but it was it was a nice sheet cake.
No, it wasn't. It was a sheet cake. That's it. It was not a
I'm
nice
sure it
sheet cake.
tasted amazing.
I
And
have no idea what it is.
it was for kids. They don't, at the end of the day, they just
No,
want to
I
eat
think it
it.
was for her brother or her dad or
Oh,
something, like an
okay.
adult person.
Well, again, I'm sure it tasted amazing, and it's all in the fun. I mean,
Let's
it's better.
hope.
Remember my bacon cake? It wasn't a bacon cake, by the way. It looked like it had raw strips of
You
bacon
bacon.
all over it.
As
I'll
I said,
post that. I'll
baking
show
cake. I
you.
was like, yep, we'll
And
definitely
you
have
should
to
and you
put
should
bacon
post
cake.
we'll post your trampoline
We'll
cake.
put them up. We'll put them up here, and we'll also post them on
Yeah.
our
Yeah. But
Instagrams because
yeah.
yeah, it's time for us to share some more baking craps.
Oh yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, it's
Yeah.
hard to remember to film it in the process because we really intend to be like, hey everyone. I mean, we're not professionals by any stretch of the imagination, but hey, we have baking craps all the time.
All the time. All the
Things go
time.
wrong all the time.
Yeah.
Do we choose to remember them? Apparently not. Do
No,
we choose to document them? Definitely not.
block that from the mind sometimes, right? But
But we have to remind ourselves.
well, yeah. And I think you're right though. I think it's about whether or not we're even recording, because I don't know about you, but I do not do a good job of making sure that I record. Like, I do not record the majority of the stuff that I actually bake,
Mhm.
where I'll probably have a baking scrap, right? Where,
Yeah.
you know, I'm spilling stuff all over, I'm dropping eggs on the floor, or, you know, my oven, you know, my fire, you know, smoke detector is going off crazily constantly.
No,
Well,
that does not.
I made, so just a couple of weeks ago, I made some pastéis de nata, which
Yes.
are these custard tarts,
Love them. Love
and
them.
they bake it at like a stupid high heat.
Because they have to get
And
like burned on the top.
exactly on the top and stuff, and right, and that
Yum, yum,
tasty
yum.
little crust that they, or the little tart shell that you have, is it's kind of like a laminated dough. Really, I mean, it's stunningly crisp and marvelous.
They're
It's the
so
combination
good.
of the two.
Oh, I love them.
You know, the mouthfeel of that is just incredible. I think that's the attraction for me anyway, with the pastéis de nata. Anyway, so I had them going, and, you know, my smoke detector is like practically just above my oven. So it doesn't matter. Like, if I have my oven at a high heat, it goes off anyway, right? As soon as I open the oven door, if it's at 450 or above, like that smoke detector's
Well,
going off.
you're like penthouse level basically, so we have to make sure you have time to get all the way down the stairs if there's a fire.
If it goes really sideways, right?
Gives you lots of advance notice.
But anyway, so anyway, my husband works from home, and he's like on conference calls, and I take these out of the oven, and seriously, the smoke detector's going off. So he comes out to see what's going on, and I'm out there with, like, you know,
Baking sheets.
trying to fan the smoke detector. And then of course I had a second batch going. So I did it twice.
No, you didn't.
Oh yeah, I did. And he's
That's
like,
the smoke detector's fault.
and he's like looking at me like, are you serious right now? I'm on a call. I'm like, I'm
Oh,
sorry, it's not me. Well, it was,
not you
but
at all.
no.
It's your sensitive smoke detector.
But out of that, I had like this moment of sheer brilliance. We have a pizza oven that is outside. And so the next batch that I made, so I only baked up half of them, and I had the other half that I was going to do for later on. And
Yeah.
so I actually did them in the pizza oven.
All
Why did I
right.
not think of this sooner? Because in a
'Cause
pizza oven, we can get up to, like, because traditionally the pastéis de nata actually bake at about 700, 800 degrees. Like when they make the legit ones, it's a super, super
Wow.
high heat. So you couldn't even use the regular oven. But the
Mm-mm.
pizza oven worked like a charm.
Oh,
So
out of the ashes.
I will never set off the smoke detector again.
Well,
It's
I'm sure
brilliant.
Erwin will appreciate that.
As I'm sure our neighbors would too.
You know what I was thinking about are another baking crap that we had. A lot of people don't know this, but when we got together with Larry Harris
Yeah.
so that we could make his beautiful Chocopan bread together, the plan was that you would teach him how to make macarons. And
Yes.
that didn't go as well as we expected it to.
No, again, you know, humidity out on the West Coast is not our friend with macarons. And they just, I mean, it was, yeah, they just didn't work out as well as we had hoped. Sorry, Larry.
Yeah, sorry, Larry.
Sorry, Larry. It
I
was
have a
really,
lot of footage on my phone still. I did a lot of filming, but
yeah.
I'm not gonna use it. I think I'll delete it.
Oh, well, it's up to you. We could do a fun like scraps reel or crap,
Craps
crap
wheel.
reel, craps wheel with it for sure. But yeah, that was, you know, and that's really disappointing to
Yeah,
when that kind of stuff happens. And same
of
thing, like,
course.
um, I think I posted this on my Instagram not that long ago, but I have been working with this young lady who's in grade 11, and she asked me to be her mentor for her capstone project. And
Yes.
her capstone project was about making macarons, the 3 different ways of making macarons. And of course, like, I'm pretty proficient at making French macarons and pretty proficient at making Italian macarons, but I've
Mhm.
never really made Swiss macarons
Right.
before.
Yeah.
So it was a great learning experience for me as well to kind of take her through that. And seriously, the first couple of batches were like,
Mm-mm.
I was like, and she's looking at me going, that's okay. Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, no, we're going to get this. And so third time lucky, we finally got them done and they were perfection. They were awesome. So, but you know,
Good for you.
again, yeah. So now I can probably say that I'm, you know,
Proficient.
proficient at doing all three of them. So
Good for you.
awesome. Yeah. So just to, you know, it's like, hey, macarons are tricky, right?
Finicky, very finicky.
And yeah, so it's just about having that patience and tweaking things along the way and seeing what works best because it's the oven mainly, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
But
was
it's good.
sad. That made me very sad. I think it made Larry very sad because I think he wanted to eat all the macarons.
Yeah. Well, they were still tasty. They were just a little, you know, not quite
Oh.
the perfect imperfect little macarons. They were imperfectly imperfect.
Yeah, unfortunately. It doesn't, for me, it doesn't take away your title as macaron queen.
Definitely not macaron queen.
To me, you are.
No, my goodness. Have you seen what
Oh my
people
goodness.
do? There's so much talent out in the baking world. And, you know,
We know. That's why we do this podcast.
yeah, right. We get the opportunity to chat with all of them. Fred, Sibby
Right.
Living, Macaron
Yeah.
King.
Macaron, Doc
He's the
macaron.
royalty.
Yes.
He's royalty when it comes to macarons. So, yeah.
Andrea.
Yes,
Andrea
Andrea.
Nata and all of her
Yes.
many, 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 many macarons.
Right. So, you know what? There's so many people that make them so very, very well. And I'm just happy that I can make them when I need them. So,
Yeah. And you're very good at it. So just accept the compliment.
thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Did you see that Andrea changed her hair again?
I did.
She went back to the Andrea spiky, colorful hair that we know and love.
I love it. I love it. Love it. Love it.
That was really fun to see.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Segment 3. The guest will never forget. That's a hard one.
I was going to say, this is a really, really tough one because we've had, what, 60
Well, almost. Yeah, pretty much. I think 50 something because a lot of those were recaps, or some of them were recaps.
Yeah, some of them were recaps.
Yeah.
So let's call it, we've had over 50 incredible conversations with so much talent out there that it'll be hard to pick just one. You know, they've all been fantastic. I mean, Loic was our first. You'll never forget your first. Thank you, Loic.
Thanks for being our first, Loic.
Well, you know, having the support and the trust that we're going to be able to, you know, tell and share the story of who they are and what they do and have those conversations. I mean, people are entrusting us, and we were like, I mean, who were we, right? Instagram
Nobody.
fans.
We're just two little nobodies.
And, you know, and arguably we're probably the same.
Yeah.
We've just had lots of great conversations, which is amazing. So I think that is really nice. You know, that was wonderful to have the winner of season 8 be our first guest, inaugural guest on Baking Scraps.
Season 7.
Oh, sorry. Yes, season 7. I lose track.
It's been a year.
It has been. It has been. So that was really cool that he had joined us for that. I don't know. I think you know, I loved our time baking with Larry and with Andre. Right? Because you've got that one-on-one time with them and you can have like such a great conversation and spend a bit more time like with Larry and his wife. You know, we hung out for the whole day.
We had a wonderful day. And you made the best lunch. The macarons may not have been spiffy, but man, that salad with the burrata and oh, so delicious. And you know, we like the savory stuff. I'd rather eat real food than eat any of the sweet stuff that we bake. So yeah, you can serve that to me any day.
All right. I will. Yeah, but I mean, I think that was a great opportunities that we got to spend so much quality time with these incredibly talented, wonderful human beings.
Yeah.
I think those stand out as really super special in my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that Oh, it's hard. Like
Yeah.
I really can't narrow it down to one particular guest that I'm just like, that was the be all end all. That was amazing because every time we get to sit down with these people, it's so exciting. And every week when we're releasing a new episode, I'm so excited
Yeah.
about the guests that we're speaking to. Off the top of my head, the fact that we got to talk with Bruno and Kyla, the judges
Hmm.
of the Great Canadian Baking Show,
Hmm.
that was rather huge for me. That felt so good to be able to just ask them whatever questions have been on our mind, how open they were with us, how ready they were to just chat with us about what got them into baking and how it feels to judge the show. And, do you ever get sugar overload? It was, I mean, if we ever had a coup, that felt like a coup for us
Yes.
to be able to like, oh wow, we're having Bruno and Kyla on the episode. Um,
Right. Yeah.
but yeah, I'd love to chat with them again. I would
Hmm.
love to be able to have kind of a follow-up episode, maybe even one-on-one, because it is a little bit difficult when you're having two guests who are in two separate places. Those have been some challenging episodes for us
Yeah.
at times.
Yeah.
So them and also chatting with Candace. I
Hmm.
really enjoyed Candace. She shared some lovely fun behind the scenes stuff with us as well. And just about herself and her life and her preparation. Just thought that was so much fun. Rafikat, I'll never forget how
Mm.
she told us that baking is a science, and when you nail down the science, then it becomes an art. And for me, who is an art nerd with a science degree, it just feels like, I don't know, it's like balancing the two halves of my brain
Hmm.
so nicely. Like I'm really creative, but I love the scientific aspect of it. So for me, that was a moment. Like that was really a moment when I was thinking, wow, what, I don't know why it hit me so hard, but it really did, you know.
Yeah.
And who could ever forget Patty?
Oh, or
Patty
Regin and Regin
and
too.
Regine. Oh, yes. So much fun. I
So
mean,
fun.
we
So
could just
fun.
keep talking. We could just be like, wow. And so for us, I have to admit, sometimes once the cameras are off, when we're no longer recording, we have some of the most fun conversations with people. And then you're like, oh, I really wish. But it's so nice to just be able to develop that rapport and that actual friendship behind the scenes. So I value and treasure that.
Yeah, same here. I'm so grateful that we have had so many incredible people that are willing to talk, to have a conversation with us.
Hmm.
And I see this, I think, often when we are recording, that we pinch ourselves at the great conversations that we're able to have and in depth. And I agree with you, Lisa. I
Yeah.
mean, that's one of the things that obviously people don't see when we actually drop our episodes, is all the behind the scenes stuff that and conversation that we have after
Yeah.
the camera stops, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just so much fun to do that and to get to know these people and then the support that we get from them when we do drop the
Yeah.
episodes and then just our regular interaction on Instagram, social media. Yeah, it's really
Yeah.
wonderful. It's a wonderful community that we have around us, and we're just so thrilled to be able to do what we do.
Hmm.
And I'm very grateful that
Yeah.
we have so much support from people who allow us to do what we do. So
Yeah. It's amazing how supported that we are with this whole
mhm.
entire endeavor. So, yeah. Who do you want to have on next? Who would be that next major
Yeah.
coup as far as you're concerned?
Well, obviously season 9 bakers that are going to be
Yes.
coming up. That would
Looking forward to
be,
that. They're in the tent right now.
I know. Crazy, 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 crazy. I hope they are having a blast and they're taking it all in. Take it all in, people. Take it
Look
all in.
around. See the
Yeah.
scenery. Just
Yeah.
soak in every moment.
Totally enjoy
Yeah.
it because
Yes.
you are part of this incredibly elite, amazing group. And now you've got all this brand new baking family that you've become part of.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's amazing. It's amazing. So
can't
looking
wait.
forward to having them on.
I am looking forward to having all of them on.
Hope they'll be interested.
I hope so. I hope so. I mean, we were again super lucky that all of the season 8 bakers were willing to go through the baking scraps.
Yes. And we're going to have Guillaume on again because we had some unfortunate issues with our audio or with our video. So we had no video of Guillaume, and I think it was me. There was no video of me either. It was just you.
No, it's just me.
Is it? Yeah. So we need a proper video. I mean, those listening to it on one of the streaming platforms won't have any problems with it. But we want to show Guillaume.
Yes.
You know, Vincent wants us to show Guillaume.
Exactly, because he had this whole gun show on display.
He did.
Just for Vincent, I'm sure.
He did it just for Vincent.
So yes, we have to get Guillaume back on and re-record that episode for sure. So
yeah, we'll get some new news from him and everything.
Yeah. And then as far as like maybe some other, I mean, wouldn't it be cool to get Paul Hollywood and Prue?
Oh, I would love that. I would love that so much. I think that would be absolutely incredible. So yeah, I think Paul Hollywood and Prue Leith are a couple of like the ones that I would just be like major score. And then also Amaury Guichon from School of Chocolate and
my goodness.
from Instagram. Like he would be just amazing to have on. Or Matt Adlard.
Oh, Matt Adlard would be amazing
Wouldn't
too.
he?
You know what would be even more exciting than having them on here? Being able to bake with them.
Yes. Take us to the School of Chocolate.
Wouldn't that be totally cool? Because he does have like guests that come and join him, right? And actually bake with them. Wouldn't that
We're
be
not famous enough. So who does? Matt Adlard does or Amaury does?
Oh, Amaury does.
Amaury does. Yeah, we're not famous enough to do that.
No.
Yet. Make us famous. Maybe he can make us famous. Either way, if we get to interact with him in any way, any of those people. I mean, it doesn't take away from any of the incredible people that we already have gotten to talk to and that we're going to talk to in the future. But those feel like some major heavy hitters in our hearts and in our kitchens.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the other thing as well that I love about what we do too is and we talked a bit about some of the behind the scenes stuff, but some of the people that we've spoken about have shared with us like life secrets as well, right? Like how many pregnancies did we find out about, right? before they actually announced, right?
Yes. So we got some of this information, that's for sure. That was pretty relationship status changes as well. Like those kinds of things that we have been privy to. And so once again, thank you to all of our guests for trusting us and knowing that we're not going to reveal any of that stuff to anybody and allowing us to share the joy and the sadness and the frustration or, whatever's happening in your life. Thank you for just giving us
trusting us
that moment together to be able to either celebrate with you or grieve with you. We're just so grateful. So grateful.
We really, really are. It's it's a very special relationship. Relationship.
We're the secret keepers.
So spill all the tea.
Spill it to us and we will not spill it to anybody.
We will not. No.
We've been pretty good. There was that one really big secret that and then we had someone who was trying really hard to get it out of us.
Yeah.
And we were just like, no, we're looking at each other like we're not going to say anything. We're not going to say anything. And we're still not going to say anything.
No. And the other thing, cookbook deals too.
Yes, people really do trust us.
They trust us.
Yes.
So it's been so fun. So fun.
Yeah. We really get to kind of be in the inner circle with lots of people, which is really amazing.
Super cool. Super awesome.
What an amazing job that we do not get paid for, and that
we do it all for the love. All the love.
All the love. All right. What's next for Baking Scraps, Cristina? That was loud. Sorry, people.
What is next for us? I mean,
what is next?
Well, we've got an exciting second year planned,
Mhm.
so I hope that we're going to be able to continue having more amazing conversations with fabulous bakers or people that are involved in the baking industry. I think that'll be a lot of fun.
Mhm.
We are working on a website,
Yes, we are. Definitely.
finally.
I think that's very important. Be nice to have everything in one place. I mean, if you go to our link tree, you'll be able to find all our links, but I think it's just so much nicer and so much more personalized to be able to have a website that can point you in all these different directions and you can have it all in one place. So
Yeah, have it
easy to
all
just
organized.
share bakingscraps.com or whatever it's going to be. That would be great.
That would make sense to call it baking scraps or the baking scraps, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if we can get that domain name, that will be it, but we'll let you know when we know.
Yes,
In the
we will.
meantime, we
No.
have plans for that. I always kind of have in the back of my mind that I would like us to do a cookbook.
Mhm.
We have all kinds of different segments that we come up with, different like compilation videos that I would like to put out there, but they're difficult to do just from the perspective of finding all the clips and editing them together. I am no professional and I have no time, but one of these days I'm going to get a compilation of Christina saying, "That's cool, that's cool, that's cool." Or, and that's the wonderful thing about baking, and just have it every time she said that all together. And then, then you can, I'll also do one of myself saying, what's one of the things that I say a lot? What?
Oh,
What?
I don't, well, nothing really comes to mind of any, like a
I'm
least.
sure I'll find it while I'm, searching through to find yours.
Oh, mine are probably easy. Yeah. Well,
I love it though. This is your catchphrase.
great.
Really cool.
Super cool. Really
Super
cool.
cool.
Super cool. Really
Or like a
cool.
compilation of our
Amazing.
arguments about raisins.
How you never judge.
I don't judge. I don't. I love all people.
Yes, so do I. That's not mutually exclusive, I'm thinking.
That's true. It better not
But
be.
you do. You silently judge.
I
You
don't.
have,
You think I do?
yeah, you do, because you do like the side eye. You do the,
That's mostly just me trying to think of what I'm going to say next. I'm not judging. I don't judge. If someone likes
so
raisins,
what's this face?
then that's great. If somebody doesn't, I don't do that face. All right, we're gonna watch hours and hours and hours of footage to see if I even make that face even once. Maybe it's when you say how bad you are at decorating cookies, and I go, because I'm like, I don't think that's right. You're not that bad at it.
Oh, come on. Come on. You've seen it. You saw it firsthand.
You were distracted. You were watching the Great British Bake Off.
Sure,
I'm
we'll
trying
go
to
with that.
boost you up, my friend.
So were you. You were watching it too.
I know, but I was
You were doing
more
the
paying
lace
attention
work,
to
the
the.
needlework cookie. I'm like, what the frick is this? Torture?
Are we going to do that again next time we see each other? Spend some time.
No, no more of that.
All right. All right. Okay.
It's
Well,
all good.
we are excited about what's coming up. So we're going to be wrapping up our second season and having a break for the summertime.
Mhm.
So hopefully everybody will be able to catch up on all of our content. We do have tons for you to look at. Um, I wonder if people realize that they can find all of my stuff on my Instagram, which currently the name is Leafs Dutch Oven, Liefs Dutch Oven. I don't know if I like that name. I might change it. And then all of Christina's stuff on Eat, Bake, Love Lady. We have all kinds of our own personal stuff there, but we also share all our Baking Scraps content. So
Mhm.
if you follow one of us but don't follow Baking Scraps, please go ahead and follow Baking Scraps and vice versa. We love to grow our baking family, and we're really excited about what's coming up next.
For sure. And then the other thing that we'd love to do at some point is our cross Canada North America,
Yeah.
worldwide,
Worldwide
international
tour where
tour.
she wants to fly everywhere, and I'm like, no, road trip, lots of snacks and music.
Yeah.
No, she
Yes.
doesn't. See,
But
there's her judging face.
no, judging at all. That's
We
I will
can compromise.
contemplate it.
Yeah, we can
Hmm.
compromise, right? We
Hmm.
don't have to drive everywhere and we don't have to fly everywhere, right?
Exactly.
We
We
should
can.
start a GoFundMe for
Mhm,
our
mhm.
tour.
We need a GoFundMe page for our tour. Do you think anybody would support that?
Oh, absolutely not.
Hey, I've seen some doozies. Like I've seen some doozies
GoFundMe's?
GoFundMe's.
Really?
Oh
Mm.
yeah. Everybody fundraises for all sorts of weird and wacky stuff.
I would feel
So,
strange doing
mhm,
that. Oh well.
yeah,
Well,
me too.
yeah,
But
sign up for our Patreon if you want more content. We don't have a Patreon yet.
but
We'll see
but
what
maybe
happens.
but maybe what we could do on our website is maybe do some fun cool things like
Some
we have
giveaways.
we can do some fun giveaways, or we can maybe even do some merch if people might be interested in supporting
Definitely.
us that way. So some cool like baking scrap aprons or ball
Mhm.
caps or t-shirts or
Yeah.
different things like that that
Yeah.
maybe would be something that you
Yep.
may or may not.
Stickers. You can
Hmm?
do all kinds of things.
Stickers, yeah,
Stickers,
people
yeah.
like stickers.
I know. Stickers are great. Yeah, so we'll be looking into that. Why don't you tell us, either below, depending on which platform you're at least listening to this on or watching this on, or on our Instagram page, and we'll ask, we'll put it out there. What do you want to see from us? What would
Yeah.
be interesting to you? Because yeah, this is about growing our baking family, but it's also about keeping you interested and giving the audience what they want, right? I mean, it's not just us. You don't want just us, right? You want to hear these great guests and you want to have something else that gives you value. So what is valuable to you about the baking
Yes.
squad?
Yeah. What would you like to see more from
Yeah,
us?
tell us. We'll give you some options and then you can add in some different ideas. We'd really love to see that. So,
Absolutely. Yeah.
well, do you
Very
think
cool.
it's time for a little game of this or that?
Ooh.
Anniversary edition.
Woohoo. I think this is going to be a blast.
This is going to be this or that rapid fire. Intense.
Intense.
Deeper stakes, my
Like
friend.
in the Great Canadian Baking Show.
Intense. In sheds. No pun intended, but we love a good baking pun, don't we? Yeah.
Yes. Yes, we do.
All
So
right.
cool.
I think what we should do, because we have a lot of questions here,
Hmm.
let's just go back and forth and not both answer the same one. I'll ask you
Okay.
one and then you ask me one. And
Sure.
there. Okay, ready?
That sounds great. Yes.
Want to take the first one or do you want
I
me to?
can. Yep.
Okay.
Buttercream or ganache?
To frost with, I guess because I'm more familiar with it, buttercream, but I do prefer the taste of ganache.
Hmm.
So, and I think it is easier to frost with too,
Yeah.
actually, but I just don't have as much practice with it. And
Yeah.
actually, you know what? Ganache is so much faster to make than buttercream is.
Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure. Like it depends on obviously what kind of ganache you make and the
Yeah.
ratio and how long, and what
Yeah.
if you're filling with it too. Because
Yep, exactly. I
sometimes,
think I need to kind of work on some more ganache. I think I need to be doing that more often
yeah.
because that was a good question.
Yeah.
Like it.
And what's your favorite buttercream? If you're a
My
buttercream
favorite
gal. Yeah.
buttercream is Swiss meringue buttercream.
Which is interesting because you're not a huge meringue fan.
No, I don't like meringue.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I do like the way that the buttercream comes together. I like the
Mhm.
taste of it. It's not as sweet. I
Mhm.
like working with it. I think it's a really nice medium. And I've now gotten to the point where I can make it quickly.
Yeah.
Whereas in the beginning, I was like, why is this taking a year and a half? It doesn't take that long anymore. Um, and my husband does not like it, which is kind of funny. Um, he thinks it tastes too buttery,
Yeah. Interesting.
which is weird. But hey, to each their
Each
own.
their own.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But I
All
do
right.
agree with you with the ganache and not as sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But too buttery, apparently. All right, Christina,
All
early
right.
morning bake or midnight bake?
I am much more of an early morning person. So I have got to say early morning bake, but honestly, I like baking in the afternoon.
Oh, well, that's not the question.
I know. Wait,
All
do I
right.
have to answer one of those? I guess if I had to choose,
Be a Larry.
yeah, be a Larry. No, he would say both. Both.
Both. I like to
Both.
bake all
Yes.
hours of the day.
Yes. Yeah, but I would say if I had to make a choice between early morning bake or midnight bake, I would definitely do the early morning bake because I'm usually in bed by 9 o'clock.
That's pretty cool. That's
10
great.
o'clock in the summertime because it's
So
still
that you
light
can, yeah, exactly. So that you can get up and bake in your house coat.
right?
Yeah,
I actually do that often.
I do
I
too.
bake in my house coat.
Yeah, if I don't get started right away, then it can just be postponed and postponed throughout the day. So I'm like, I'm just gonna do it right now. And
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
even bother eating breakfast or getting changed. I just start.
yeah, yeah. Like yesterday, I had to finish up a cake, and so I did that. Like I woke up and I just got her done, and
Yeah.
it was a ganache finish actually. So
Nice.
we're just talking about ganache.
Nice.
Yes,
Very,
yes,
very
very
good.
good. All righty. Your dream collaboration. So Great British Bake Off winner or an Instagram baking icon?
Who do I want to collab with?
Hmm.
Um, I'm because I'm not as familiar with the winners of Great British Bake Off as I am with Canadian.
Mhm.
I'm gonna say Instagram baking icon, and I'll tell you who I want to collab with is my pal Katie, Katie Stymist.
Yeah,
Yeah, Cakes
nice.
with Katie. I would like to do anything with her, mostly because I love her to pieces and I would like to be baking in the same kitchen together. Plus, how she does all her gluten-free and dairy-free baking, which for me has always been an interest and something that I want to be, getting better at. I just love some of the stuff that she does, and I would love to do that together. So.
Yeah, and she is the sweetest person out there,
I
like
know.
such a
We'd put
lovely
on praise and
soul.
worship
And
music and we'd be dancing around the kitchen. And I mean, it would be the best. I would love
yeah,
it. So
she's so lovely.
yeah,
Yeah, I
she
can
might be
totally
coming
see that.
down to visit this summer. So I'm really, really, really hopeful that's
That
gonna
opportunity to do that. That would be awesome.
right. And you can come over too.
Let me know.
We'll put on 80s music.
Cool.
Yeah, that works.
That works for me.
I love it. All right. Your
Okay.
secret love, boxed cake mix or canned frosting?
Oh, okay. So, wow. Okay. Wow, wow, wow. This is not that tough actually, because
No.
canned frosting is like, I'm sorry, to each their own, but I find it, and I've used my fair share of canned frosting when in the early days of my baking,
Because
and
it's there.
because it's there and it's easy, but holy, is it ever sweet?
Mm-hmm.
Like I need my dentist on speed dial, I swear, after having anything with the canned frosting. So I wouldn't call it a secret love, um, but I would definitely go a box cake mix, head and shoulders over canned frosting. No,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. And my favorite box cake mix, if I'm gonna do a box cake mix, probably an angel food cake.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Just
If I'm
just
gonna
to
do
be
a
safe, make sure it's gonna turn out.
Yeah, I mean, I've done them. I love making it from scratch as well, but it's a
Yeah,
lot of egg whites,
it
a lot
is
of
a
egg
lot of
whites.
egg whites.
So you got to be doing, massive batches of lemon curd or pastry cream or
Yeah.
something. French buttercream, I guess.
Yeah,
Would
we love
probably
the
work.
French
Yeah.
buttercream. Yeah.
So yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
You know that canned frosting, where one place where it is kind of handy is in a pinch if you need a dairy-free frosting, because I have made
Oh,
a dairy-free frosting that is not setting up properly, just because usually the plant-based butter or,
yeah,
shortening, it's just a little soft. It can be very
yeah.
difficult. And if you want something that's stable but dairy-free, that's generally speaking
Mm,
canned frosting, gluten-free and dairy-free.
yeah.
Kind of handy
Ah,
for that. But
very
yeah,
good. Yeah,
very, very cloyingly
it
sweet.
is.
We're just like, oh, my back teeth hurt right now
Yes,
thinking about it.
Exactly, right? You know, it's the equivalent of like getting an ice cream headache, but all of the sugar in your mouth. It's like,
Ah,
it
I
hurts.
don't like
It
it.
hurts. Exactly.
Not good.
Oh, too funny. Okay. Baking for love or baking for money?
Baking for love.
Yeah.
It's
That's
ridiculous. Somebody asked me today, hey, can you make a cake soon for this particular occasion? And I'm like, well, it's Monday. I'm leaving on Wednesday for Vancouver. I'm going away until the 5 o'clock ferry on Friday. When do you need it? Friday.
oh,
Sure, I can do that. I can figure that out. Just let me know what you want. How much do you want for it? Probably about half price of what I should actually charge you for it, but why not? It's a challenge. I'll enjoy it. So it's baking for the love of baking and of
yeah.
creating and for the love of people because I just really enjoy their reactions, either
Hmm.
to the taste of it or to the creativity aspect or the I can't believe it's gluten-free
Yeah.
aspect. So I bake for love. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish I could bake for money because that would just change my life, if I made some good money baking. But yeah.
So would you ever want to, if you had the opportunity to open up like either a home bakery or an actual bricks and mortar bakery, would you do it?
Yeah, I think I would. I used to say there's no way that I would. But you know me, I change my mind on things.
I've
So
not noticed that about you at all, at all.
up. Oh my. Yes, no. For me, the thing was, I really just don't want to be baking the same thing every day.
Hmm.
I don't want it to have to be that it becomes a chore rather than a joy for me. And of
Hmm.
course it would if I was having my own business because it would be, there's always so many other things you have to think of. Um, but I've kind of realized that you can do it in the way that works for you. If
Hmm.
you decide you want to go ahead having a bakery, you can say, I'm going to have a few staples that are maybe the easier things to bake or the more easy to bake in bulk type of things. But then I'm going to have specials every day. Every day it's going to be, what do I feel like baking every day? And I can do it my own way. So yes, it becomes more and more of a desire and
Yeah.
more of a dream for me.
Hmm. So do you think you'll do that one day?
Yeah, I think I will.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. Unless we end up on TV or something.
Well, that would be all right
Then I'll
too,
just bake
right?
on
You know,
TV.
bake on TV.
With you?
I would, you know what would be really cool? Being judges or hosts.
I don't know.
Hosts.
I would rather
Being the
bake.
host, hosting, you know, and going around and trying all the different things, but having
No,
zero pressure to
no,
either
no.
bake
I don't like that idea.
or to judge.
This is a this or that question we did not anticipate, but we are definitely on both sides of that because I'm like, I do not want to be a judge. I do not want to be tasting all that sweet stuff.
But being a host,
I don't
being
want
the
to do that
host,
either because
doing,
then I
you know,
don't get to be creative. I guess I could try to be funny, but I would be no Anne or Alan, I tell you that.
I know they would be tough acts to follow for sure. So, but
That
anyway,
is very
we can
true.
all dream. I wouldn't mind doing any of those three things.
I
I'd be
like hearing that.
totally okay.
That's
Totally
good.
okay.
That's good.
Yeah,
We can fit into different corners of the baking world quite easily.
for sure, for sure.
All
So,
right, neat kitchen or creative chaos.
oh, well, you know, there is something to be said when your kitchen is like spotlessly clean. Like there's
Yeah.
just, I mean, it for me, it's like almost one of life's little luxuries. Having
Yeah.
a spotlessly clean kitchen. How often does that happen? Oh, I'd say maybe 2% of time ever. So the rest of the time I am pretty much in creative chaos. And I like doing that, right? And you know, I've got like there's four sort of small little areas in my kitchen where I could actually you know, set up different stages and have the different stages of whatever. So I've got like this is, you know, this section of my kitchen is where I do all the mixing, and this section is where I pour into pans or that kind of stuff. Here's the other part of my kitchen where I'm, you know, setting up for whatever. And
Yeah.
so it's just, you know, and there's the cooling area. And so everything
Not
is
on top of the dishwasher.
no, don't temper chocolate over your dishwasher when it's going.
Running.
If you remember, that was one of the baking craps from a
Yeah.
long while ago. Yes, I was like, what the heck? I
Yeah.
know it should be in Dipper. What's going on?
Bit
But
warm.
anyway, so I love the creative chaos part of it as well, and just having kind of stuff everywhere, and it's the whirlwind of creating and baking and getting it all done. Yeah.
Let's say creative chaos with a culinary team.
Who can clean up afterwards? That
Yes.
would be amazing.
Then you get the
That
neat
would,
and tidy kitchen right away. Or
in fact, I
you
think
can
that
go
might be
away.
the best part of maybe making it on to Great Canadian Baking Show one season is having somebody clean up afterwards,
But
which
they
is
would still put stuff in the
horrible,
wrong
but
places. Let's be real.
mm, they would put stuff in the wrong place. Or if
Well,
somebody came in and cleaned up after. Yeah.
if somebody came in and cleaned
Yeah.
up after you, you would find your whisks in the wrong drawer and you
Mhm.
would find your,
Yep.
you know, baking pans stacked up in the wrong cupboard, you know.
Yeah. Is there, because, my husband sometimes will do that, like, bless his heart. It's
Uh-huh.
just so wonderful. But then when I go and I need whatever, and usually it's this, my little scraper.
Oh,
So,
yes, yeah.
right, because it's in a very unique location just because of the
Yeah.
size of it, right? So
Yeah.
it doesn't, there's no, for me, it's intuitive where it is, but for him, like if he's putting stuff away
Yeah.
and he's like, he doesn't know what to do with it. So I find it in all sorts of cupboards, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
or drawers or
Same
whatever. And I'm
thing
like,
here.
what?
Same thing here. And I appreciate it so much that he's trying. And then I feel like when I tell him where it's actually supposed to go, that he's going to take it as a criticism, but it really is basically like, I appreciate this so much, but if you want to put it away, here's where it's supposed to go if you want to next time.
Yeah.
But
And if
I
you're
don't know
not
how he
sure where
takes
it
it.
goes, just leave it on the counter and
No, no, don't do that.
no, no.
No, because he leaves lots of stuff on the counter anyway. And so I'm like, oh, how do I know if this is clean or dirty? I don't know. But
Yeah,
yeah.
that's fair. That's fair. All right. Sweet revenge. Would you be so if you were to overbake something or underbake something, what would you rather do? Overbake a cake or underbake it?
I guess overbake,
Mm-hmm.
even though I don't want to do that. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to serve anything to anybody that's going to be underbaked. You
Mm-hmm.
have to be able to eat it. And at least with overbaked, you can eat it. And maybe I could if it was a cake, maybe I could like put a syrup on it or something to get it a little bit more moist. But yeah, no, I don't like either of those options. But
Yeah.
what I'm more likely to do is overbaked. And I guess that's my preference. Yeah,
There you go. That makes total sense. Or
it
you could
does.
actually use it for something else too, right?
You
So
could.
yeah, put
Yes.
it in
You
a
could make
trifle
cake
or
pops or something.
cake pops. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So
With canned frosting.
yes, you could.
If you want to use it up, why not, right?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Would you rather forget sugar in a cake or forget salt in bread?
Oh, gee. Neither of those things would be a good thing.
No, neither would be
But
good.
I would say if you were going to forget one over the other, I would probably do forget salt in bread, because then at
Yeah.
least you can actually put a nice, like, a nicely salted butter with actually even adding some more salt on there to kind of balance that out. I mean, the sugar in cake is a tough one because sugar adds more than just the sweetness. It adds, the browning, the caramelization, the
Yeah.
flavor, and all that kind of stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
salt does the flavor as well, but I think you can compensate for it with what
More
you add
easily.
onto your breads. But
Yeah.
it's a bit more difficult to do that when you forget sugar in cake.
I have to agree with you on that one, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah. That was a good one.
I don't think forgetting sugar in a cake is never a good thing. It's not
No,
cake if there's no sugar in it.
no, 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 no,
No.
no. All right. Would you oh, well, this is funny. We've kind of already spoken about this. Would you like to host a live baking show or write a baking memoir?
This one for me, I was kind of trying to picture myself in either spot. Um, having been an actor and having been a writer, it's kind of a difficult place because I love doing both of those things. But I have said I don't want to host a baking show. I don't think I'm funny enough when I'm put on the spot. Yeah, you think I'm funny, but that's because you love me. Um,
No.
um, I think I would rather write a baking memoir because out of all of my talents, like I've always called myself jack of all trades, master of none, because I do a lot of things. But writing is my most natural talent. I am best at writing. I'm not passionate about writing the same way that I am about baking or some other things. But I am very, very good at it. I'm good at writing. I have a couple of books out on
Yes, I was gonna say.
Amazon. And so for me, that would be kind of like a natural blending of what I'm really good at and the other thing that I'm really good at that I'm passionate about. So yeah, I don't know who I would write a baking memoir on. Like I can't write my own like, a baking autobiography. I have more to go before I can do that.
You could do like a fiction novel
Oh,
about
so not a memoir.
not a well, maybe yeah, maybe not a memoir, but maybe more of a like write a nice baking related fiction book.
Yeah, and include
Or
recipes.
or it could be a manifestation of like your own bakery
Yeah, that's true,
later on.
actually. Okay, you're
Yeah,
giving me ideas.
there you go.
Yeah, that's
Cool.
definitely my answer. Okay.
Yes.
Would you rather critique a friend's bad bake or smile and eat it? I'm looking at you
That is such a tough one
so hard.
because I mean, I think it depends on a friend who your
Who
friend
it is.
is. Yeah. I think if they are like a baker friend,
Hmm.
I think I would still smile and eat it, but I would maybe like depending on who they would be, I would might say, oh, well, I love how, this is blah,
You would be a Kyla.
I think well, you know what? I think it would be like, I would probably not offer criticism necessarily, but maybe ideas for what you could do in the future kind of thing.
Right.
Like, wouldn't
Okay.
this be great if you would pair it up with, this or that or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So instead of, you know, yeah, going, oh my God, this is terrible. I could never do that to anybody. I mean, I was taught that at a very early age, especially
Yeah.
if you're being hosted at somebody's home.
Oh
You
man.
you just, you are gracious and kind and you eat whatever's put in front of you. And those were the rules. Like you didn't,
Yeah.
you didn't stray from that script. You know what I mean?
No, I get it. I
So,
get it. But
but
I
if
would hope that you would be honest with me if I gave you something to take because I would give it to you because I would trust your assessment.
Yeah, and that's fair. And I think, and we did that with, when we were prepping, like when we were getting stuff together for the audition this past season,
Yeah,
right?
for season
Because
9.
you'd come over the night before and we were doing stuff. And then, you would give me a taste or I would give you a taste of stuff. And then we would just say, okay, what do you think? And do you
Hmm.
think it needs more of this? Or that's a totally different situation
Yeah.
because you're being asked for feedback and that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
But I think it would be really hard for me to critique somebody if they're baking something with love for me. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, me
I
too.
would
I
say,
get that.
yeah,
Definitely. It's super hard to
smile
do.
and eat. Yeah,
I
smile
don't
and
want
eat
to
it.
hurt anybody's feelings. Yeah,
No.
smile and eat it.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because again, people are doing it with love. And if they're just new at baking, you wanna make sure that they feel good
Yes.
about what they're doing. And the fact
Yeah.
that they made something for you, that trumps everything else.
Yep, that's it. There we go. We're just
Yep.
grateful. Grateful for
Yep.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, um, would you prefer like major drama with a guest? Or if we just had a tech disaster during a recording?
Oh, we've had both of these
Oh, I
though.
know.
Which do I prefer?
Which do you prefer?
Oh, the drama with a guest is one of the hardest situations ever. I do not like any kind of confrontation with any person, whether it's someone confronting me or me having to confront someone. So that would make me really upset. I don't think I would like that at all. Tech disasters, we have had so many of them. I think we have managed to push through really, really well. And you can still put out a good product without damaging any relationships and without anybody necessarily being the wiser. I prefer a tech disaster during recording, even
Yeah,
though it has made me cry at times.
I bet.
Yeah,
Yeah. And I
but
appreciate
people
all. Yeah,
people are the most important thing to me.
for
And
sure.
it's devastating for me to have any drama with a guest or with a person in my real life or both, you
Yeah.
know, that
Yeah.
kind of thing. So
No, I'm with you on that. I mean, yeah, we've certainly had our fair share of tech disasters, especially when we first started out. And even, there's always a little something, right? That you're
I
like,
know.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, for the most part, I mean, and we've been really fortunate that we have not had a lot of like crazy drama. And it's been nice not to have to navigate those difficult, like we're here for fun. We're here
Yeah.
for a good time, not a long time, as the song goes,
Yeah.
by Trooper, if anybody. Anyway,
I'm here for a good time,
not
not
all,
a long time.
but
So
an
have a
hour
good
and a half
time.
to 2 hours. That's it.
Yeah. For an
Every
hour and a half, not a long time. Feels like a long time to people listening sometimes.
yeah, exactly. Maybe for some people that's a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's kind of fun not to have to deal with that. But we've certainly had our fair share of like more very challenging conversations or getting a little bit deeper with our guests as well.
Yes.
So maybe
Yeah.
not necessarily drama, but just speaking about
Hard
reality of life.
things. Mm.
Yeah, hard
Yeah.
hard discussions are sometimes yeah.
Yeah. I think we're pretty good at navigating it for the
Mhm.
most part. Considering that we don't edit anymore unless we
Mhm.
really, really need to,
Mhm. Mhm.
you know, kudos to you, Christina. I'm expecting it back. Come on now.
Kudos to you, my dear.
Thank you. We're both really good at it. All right.
Oh,
If you had to quit baking,
oh,
I know, cooking savory or crafting.
okay. Well, this is an easy one for me because I am not a very crafty type person. Like I hope to be, like I really would love, like I can't knit to save my life. Yeah, the craft, like I played around with doing some like dried floral arrangements when they
Ooh,
were really popular back in the day.
like potpourri, bowls of potpourri.
Not bowls of
No.
potpourri. I'd be like doing wreaths with
Oh,
dried
okay, yeah.
flowers, that kind of stuff. Um, things like that. But I've never, and then I tried doing like the photo album crafting. Remember that was a really big thing for
Scrapbooking.
yes. So that didn't go over that well. I mean, I bought all the supplies, but it just didn't go anywhere. I've got like a little one of those Cricut machines, just
Yeah.
small ones to do like little crafts. Yeah, no, that never happened. It's sitting in my closet.
But
So
you want to be a crafter, you
you
just suck
know,
at it.
I I
Don't
try.
have the follow through.
Well, you know what it is, I think, and I think I try. I like doing things that can be proficient at, like relatively quickly, maybe. I don't
Gotcha.
have patience for some stuff. Does that make sense? Maybe that's why I don't like working with like fondant and doing like little figurines and things like that. It's just
Yeah.
my jam, right?
Yeah,
It
yeah.
doesn't give me joy and pleasure. I'd rather take a cake and then do like a freehand design on it, or so, do you know what I mean?
I
So
do. I do.
I'm much happier doing that, or baking something that's supposed to look like clean edges or whatever, just
Yeah.
very, the aesthetic, my usual aesthetic, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
um, I love that part of it. So crafting, yeah, not going to happen at all. So I'm definitely going to say cooking savory because you can still do some baking in there as well.
Yeah, and then you get to eat the savory.
Exactly, right?
Just love that. And you're being sneaky putting baking in there. You're not allowed to bake anymore. It's
It's
the
part of
rule.
cook. It's technically cooking
Oh,
savory,
so
but with like you can cook with your oven. So that's what I would be
with the
doing.
baking element. Hmm.
Yeah.
Cheater.
No,
Sneaky.
not really. Nope. I'm just expanding the definition. It's the gray zone of you know, I
Culinary.
operate well in gray zones.
Sure. That sounds good to me.
Pushing
Why not? I
boundaries.
said you could be a Larry. Be a Larry. That's all good.
There you go. Okay.
We love
All
Larry.
right.
We love you, Larry.
Yes, we do love you, Larry. So awesome. All
Mhm.
right. Admitting to a baking fail on air or taking that secret to your grave.
I think we've touched on this. This is very important to admit my baking fails, my baking craps on air. We need to remember to take pictures of the evidence and post it so people know that it happens to everybody and that the stupid little things that go so completely totally wrong are things that have happened to other people before and will happen to other people again, and it's totally okay. So yes, I would 100% admit to a baking fail, baking crap on air.
Perfect. Yeah. Because we all know that fail stands for first attempt in learning.
Yes, we do. Very good.
I love that.
I love it too. All right. At first glance, with this next question, I was thinking, oh, easy, easy. But on the other hand, you have been really working with chocolates lately. So the
Yeah.
question is lifelong supply, fancy vanilla extract, or top tier chocolate? Which
Mm.
would you rather have?
This is a really, 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 really tough one for me
Right.
because
I
um,
know you don't like chocolate as much as
mhm,
you like vanilla, but
mhm,
you really like making chocolates.
yes, but you know my love for vanilla.
I
Like
do.
I love and can never see life without vanilla. And so if I had to choose one, um, I mean, ooh, yeah, can I say, can I be a Larry? Can I be Larry?
I already said you can be a Larry, but I don't
Okay.
like it in this particular case.
Let me be Larry. Let me be Larry on this
Be a
one.
Larry. You
So
can't have a lifetime supply of both.
I can't. So I can only
No.
choose one.
I mean,
Uh,
I'll give you the silver lining to this question. If you have a lifetime supply of one, it doesn't mean you can never buy the other. You still can get the other.
oh,
You just don't have an automatic lifelong supply of it.
okay. Okay.
Does that
Then
help?
yeah, it actually, thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
love that you've given me a bit of an out on this.
Gray area. My friend Christina likes gray area.
It's a great gray area. You are so right. So this would just be a supply. So I'm going to take the chocolate just because it's like stupid expensive.
Expensive. And because you
So
can probably ask Saeed to help you
with
source some
sourcing the
vanilla.
vanilla.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. But if I only had to choose one of them,
Yes.
like to be able to like
Forever.
forever, I would probably do vanilla.
Okay. Totally fair, Larry.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Totally
that's how I'm
fair.
going to answer that one.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
The last this or that. Can you believe we're already at the end of this or that segment? It's
Well, there
crazy.
is one major final question that we both have to answer, but we'll start with this. Yes.
Okay. Would you rather be famous for one viral bake
Mm.
or have a steady, loyal community forever?
Uh, I would rather have a steady, loyal community forever.
Mhm.
And I really hope that that is what we are building here.
Yes.
I
Yes.
don't need to have a viral bake that goes viral and is famous for one reason or another, um, and then doesn't really hit the target audience who basically I want to be my friends. You know,
Mhm.
I don't need
Mhm.
to have 1 million or 3 million or 8 million. That sounds good, actually. I don't need to have a whole a whole bunch of
Hey,
people.
if it happened, we're not going
I
to say
think
no. No.
no, I mean, I think it would be handy because often you find that's how you find your people, right?
Mhm.
Something goes viral, and then all these people that you wouldn't have reached in the organic, well, that is organic, but you know what I mean. You wouldn't have
Mhm.
reached with just your little sphere of
Yeah.
influence, suddenly are reached, and then you find all of your people,
Yeah.
you know. Um, but I really, really love the community that we're building. I'm not gonna lie, I would like it to be bigger, but the reason for wanting it to be bigger is because I want to share it. Like I want the rapport and the community with other people in our baking family, and not that I want to be like famous and have a ton of stuff blow up at all. I just really want our reach to get out there so that people who would enjoy our stuff as much as we do will find it.
Yeah. No, that's
Yeah.
a totally fair answer to that question. And really it is I think about quality over quantity
Yeah,
every day of the
definitely.
week, right?
It
So
definitely is. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
All right. So the last question that we both have to answer. Would you rather get on the Great Canadian Baking Show, but have to quit baking scraps, or continue doing baking scraps and never get on the Great Canadian Baking Show? I don't
What?
like this question. It's my own question and I don't like it.
Yeah, what the heck, Lisa? What the heck? What the heck?
Look at you. You're just like, oh, awful. Don't
What
even
are
suggest
you
such a thing.
suggesting?
I
Oh,
mean, it's just one of those things we have to think about. We don't have to think about it, but it's a big question that makes you ponder, right?
it really does. And you're making me answer this one first.
Well, sure, yeah, because I'm the one who asked it.
Oh, that's such a great question.
Thanks.
I am a bit stumped because I think that is such a hard choice to make.
Yeah.
Obviously we've had our lifelong dream of our respective lifelong dreams of baking.
Lifelong
And
being the last 9 years,
well,
8 years.
yes, well, close enough. That's
Yeah.
that's a lifetime. Well, longer, right? Watching Great British Bake Off
Yeah.
as well. So, we both had that dream, and it's on both of our respective bucket lists, I think,
Yes.
to bake on Great Canadian Baking Show one day. And then, of course, last year we started this beautiful thing that's called Baking Scraps, and having so much fun and enjoying meeting everybody and being, sort of that building our community of bakers and wonderful connections that we've made. At the same time, you'd have, the opportunity to connect with other passionate bakers, kind of
Hmm.
similar to what we're doing, but sort of a whole other level of
Camaraderie.
yeah, right. Like real family, we're kind of like cousins. Here,
Yeah.
twice or three times removed
Yes.
versus being like direct relatives.
Yeah.
And so I think that's really tough. If I had to choose, oh man, yikes.
This is not a you can be Larry question. This is not a great question.
It's
I'm
a
gonna just say though, it doesn't
okay.
cement us in or lock us in either way.
Yeah.
This is not a real question. This is
I
a
would,
rhetorical
yeah,
question.
I would be hopeful that we wouldn't have to make that choice. So,
Christina,
right?
right now, for this question, for this or that intense, you have to answer the question.
Do we
Don't be like that. Come
not
on.
want to answer this question because
No gray area here. I know it's so tough.
it's so tough. So, okay, so I'm gonna find the gray zone.
Yeah.
Because what I'll say is, wouldn't it be awesome if there would be an opportunity to still be on the Great Canadian Baking Show, but duos. And we could bake on it together,
Yeah.
partners baking together, and still be able to do baking scraps.
Okay, so you all know that I always say I never judge. And I don't like confrontation. I'm confronting you right now. You have to answer this question. You cannot.
Just did.
No, that's the dream.
So
That's the dream that we get to continue doing baking scraps, but we also get to be on the Great Canadian Baking Show. The question, which is rhetorical, which will never affect what happens
okay,
in real life.
okay.
No,
I've got an answer. I've got an answer.
whatever. I don't
Okay.
believe you. Okay.
So, maybe we could do both. Maybe we do baking scraps for a number more years. And then, like all good things come to an end sometimes. And maybe, at some point,
Yeah, okay.
right? At some point, maybe it shifts a little, right? Because right now we're doing weekly episodes and we take a little breaks here and there.
Yeah.
But life kind of changes sometimes. And so maybe
Yeah.
there will be a day where maybe this isn't as realistic, or doing the weekly episodes like we do isn't as realistic. And maybe that's an opportunity that we can still do both. I'm still not answering the question, am I?
You're still, I feel like you're not answering the question because you either don't want me to feel like I think like that you think baking scraps is important.
It is.
Or you, I know, I feel
that's the
like that's
thing.
part of why you're saying that is you don't want me to think that you would abandon me to go be on the Great Canadian Baking Show, or our baking family, our audience, the people who are watching and listening. They also know that this is rhetorical, Christina. They know.
Okay. Well, but you know what? At the end of the day, I think it would be really, I don't know. I think it would be really, it's challenging to answer the question.
I know,
I
it
don't
really
like
is.
being put on the spot like this, damn it. No.
Why did we decide to play this or that?
Because you made me. No.
You're right, I did. I 100% did.
I really like what we do.
I like what
really
we do.
enjoy what we do. And I think, but I think again, because Great Canadian Baking Show is on the bucket list,
Mhm.
and if maybe we were having to make that choice, I don't know.
Okay. All right. My turn to answer the question because
Okay,
you're
good.
waffling. You're waffling a
Thank
lot.
God.
Okay. And it's really hard to answer this question because it feels like if we put something definitive out there, then that
Okay.
is going to maybe partially shape the reality of what's going to happen in our lives. That is not the case, but it's very hard to answer. And I'm going to say right now, I would rather continue doing baking scraps.
Mhm.
But I also know that when it came time to do the audition, you had said, I'm not going to do it. I'm not
I
going to do
know.
it. I'm really happy with what we're doing. And then you were like, no, I have to do it. I have to do the audition for the Great Canadian Baking Show. I felt the same way, even though I was like, oh, I might not do it this year. We both were like, this is the dream.
Yeah.
I believe that if we were given the choice and someone said, you can be on the Great Canadian Baking Show, we need you now, but you have to give up baking scraps. I believe that we would both jump at the chance and that we would celebrate for each other.
Yeah. I would want you to do it.
I would want you to do it. And it's not going to happen. We can continue doing baking scraps. It's totally fine. And we can keep trying to be on the Great Canadian Baking Show. And maybe next month, when somebody asks us this question, if they ever do, then we will just say, you know what? Yeah, we know that we have a different answer than we had last time. But Christina, you and I had an opportunity to potentially be on a different show together and keep doing baking scraps. And we were ready to give up our chance of being on the Great Canadian Baking Show to do a different show, which we didn't get into for this year, but that was a really fun experience for us to kind of think about and look forward to. And I think that whatever opportunities are presented to us, we will make the right decision at that time.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I think you have answered that question a whole lot better than I did.
No, not really. It's still a bit of a gray area.
And yeah, no, you're totally right. I think I think yes, this is a, hypothetical question that really, you can do. We're in a world where you can do anything you want. And I would hope that one day you will get that opportunity to bake in the kitchen or showcase your talent somewhere else. And I think the world is so ready for you to be doing that. And I would love nothing more than for you to have that opportunity. And I hope that when you do get that opportunity, not if, but when you get that opportunity, that we're still going to be able to have some fun doing this. And even if it has to be tweaked or pivoted in any way, we will make that happen.
We can do that.
Yeah.
And I know you want to be on the show too, and I really want that for you. So stop turning it around to being me on the show, etc. I love that you're being so kind and generous about it, but also don't be afraid to want what you want. And
yeah, and I think you know what I don't disagree with you, and I think it would be amazing, and it would still be a bucket list thing
item.
to be able to do. But I'm also at peace with the fact that it may never happen for me.
I think
right?
that's where we are right
So
now.
I think that's where I'm at, and I'm so happy and grateful and blessed that we get to do this part. If we can't do this, this is really, next best thing.
It is pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing. I'm really grateful for everything that we've been doing with Baking Scraps. I'm super excited about our newest segment, the scrapbooking.
Yes.
That Scrapbook Bakes. Scrapbook Bakes. Is that what we called it?
Scrapbook Bakes.
Scrapbook Bakes. So that's a fun new segment. So thank you for coming up with that idea. And I'm sure we'll have so many more exciting things that we're going to be doing.
Yes, we will. And let us know as well. You guys out there, you all that listen to us on a weekly basis or however often you listen to us, we are so grateful for you. But please let us know what you would like to see, because we're here for us, but we're also here for all of you. And building this community together is our goal, and the more the merrier. So please come along on this fun ride with us, and let us know if you have any great guest suggestions for us. Maybe people that we don't know. Let us know. We would love to make connections and get more of those people on board. And
we've met some amazing people based on people's recommendations. And we're just growing our family.
Yes, that's what
Thanks
it's about.
Thanks for being my partner in crime here, Cristina.
Thank you for being mine.
Thank you for being the tea to my coffee.
The raisins to your butter tarts.
Sure. I think I'm the raisins. You're the currants.
I'm the currants. You're the raisins.
Thanks for being the currants to my raisins.
Oh, no, but this has been such a great first year. I cannot believe we're here, to be honest. And it's been such a fun, wild ride, and looking forward to year 2.
Definitely. Me too. Thanks everybody for joining us. And we so look forward to bringing along the next year of our journey. So happy anniversary, Cristina.
And happy anniversary to you, Lisa.
Thank you. And happy baking.
Yes, happy baking, everyone.
What have you done?
You can edit that out.
That's all good.
Cheers. Cheers. And cheers to you guys. Thank you for coming along.
Pretty tasty.